to the OMG Hour.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 263 of the OMG Hour. And this is August 19th, apparently, 2017. And we are once again recording live to the YouTubes. So I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, welcome. I am your host, Sean Evans, otherwise known as Zion Tane. Just making you wait there, Tico.
Good pause.
That was just
excellent pause. Pause for effect. Very, very important.
Was that good effect? Was that an amazing effect?
I just assumed that you froze like usual.
Was it a special effect?
Or you'd forgotten your name again.
I've done that once before, didn't I?
You did.
The first time. Okay, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. I am Tico, Mr. Second Place. Also here, I know my name. And let's continue.
What is your name? I don't know.
I said it.
I don't
Tico,
know.
Mr. Second Place. I've said it like 7 times now.
Oh, well, I wasn't listening. I don't listen to you. I mean, I thought that was obvious by now.
No, we knew that.
Oh, okay. Good. So how's your week been?
It's been a busy week.
We were supposed to start recording this 10 minutes ago. Why weren't we?
Well, we were supposed to record this on Thursday, and, I backed out of that. And now we're supposed to record this 10 minutes ago. And so this thing in the morning where you have to wake up and get ready.
Don't you hate that?
It's not pleasant.
I'm not a fan. That happens to me like every day.
Yeah. I mean, usually I'm okay. I'm actually usually up like 7 o'clock. But this morning, I just didn't want to get up.
I don't want to get up either. I never want to get up. I think we should just ban mornings from the day.
All right. Done.
And that's it. And then
days start at noon now.
And then exactly. You go to work at noon and you're done by 3:30. It's works for me.
I don't want to work that late.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, games. Did you do games this week?
I actually did some games this week.
Okay, well we don't want to hear about them. We want to talk don't we? No. Oh wait, no, we're a gaming show. Sorry. I always forget which show we are. No,
I had a whole list of fine literature that I'd read.
Oh, good. Excellent. Okay.
Homer. I'm bluffing again. I have nothing for that.
I thought you were going to talk about Homer's The Odyssey. Was that your light reading this week?
No, I didn't watch The Simpsons this week.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, what did you play this week?
All right. Well, I did play some of the new Madden that came out.
Madden?
I know it's sports.
That's a sports game, isn't it?
Sports. That's right. But I figure with no Jeff here, I could probably sneak in some sports stuff, and you may not cut me off quite as quickly.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's hear about Madden 18.
So Madden 18 actually comes out in a week, but if you have EA access, you can get access to the trial. EA's wonderful 10-hour trial that they give you to try out all of their sports titles.
Which is all the time you need, right?
A lot of the time it is.
Yeah. It was for golf. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So I was actually really interested in this because this is the first one they've added for Madden 18, the long shot, which is their story mode, which is a scripted experience that you get. And it's actually, like, I started this up, it's actually really neat. It's well acted. It's a very cool little sort of cinematic experience where you make a couple of choices as you go along that affects your character's draft spot and stuff like that. The scouts are watching, as they say. And so you're a young kid who's had some issues and stuff like that. You are just trying to make it into the NFL, into the big leagues. And so you're going through trying to get yourself drafted by going through the NFL Combine. And your choices about how you act with your friend that you're there with will determine where you get drafted in the league. And it's very neat. Like I played this, the first 15 minutes is all cinematics and
storytelling.
Storytelling and choices before you finally actually get into any actual gameplay.
So I noticed you're being given options in the dialogue that affects the story itself.
Yeah, it's not dialogue options, but how to handle certain situations. Like the very first one you're given, your buddy there is taking a leak on the way to the combine on the side of the road, and you've got your camera out, and you have the option of goofing around and posting that video to YouTube or to just not do it. And so it determines, like, I guess, the maturity of your character and stuff like that, which will affect your draft position. You know, so how you handle certain situations determines the type of player you're going to be, which is going to determine whether or not you're going to move up or down in the draft.
So are you like whether or not you're going to be like serious or goofing off sort of thing? Like I'm not.
Yeah. So
but in this kind of case, which way, I guess, does the game want you to go?
I don't know if it really. It doesn't really give you an indication. It just tells you that your draft, the scouts are watching. So be cautious of what you're doing.
Okay.
So then that plus how you perform in the combine and in the games, and so then it gives you some scenarios as well. So it sort of gives you a flashback to back when you're in high school, your first game when you got put into the game as a freshman. And you're down 21-0, and you, as the quarterback, must bring your team back to win. And so you have a certain amount of time, a certain amount of downs in order to be able to do that. And the gameplay itself it's very reminiscent of Madden, but the story mode does add something to it. It does add a neat little tweak. The interesting thing with the EA Access, the story mode, you only get Act 1 of the story available to you in the EA Access trial.
Okay.
So I completed Act 1, and it says if you want to continue playing Longshot, purchase the full game.
And are you going to purchase the full game?
I honestly don't think I will right off the bat.
But it's sports, and it's pressing buttons.
I know, but EA has conditioned me now to wait a little bit, because it'll be either on sale within a month or two.
This is true.
Or it'll be free in the vault, like many of their other games have.
Within the next year.
Yeah. All of their sports games will be in the vault for free within a year. I'll play some more of the main game. Obviously I can't play any more of the long shot stuff, but I'll play some more of the main game and get a better sense of that. Listen, if it absolutely blows me away, I might pick it up because I do enjoy sports titles. But most likely, this is as an EA title. This is one of those ones that I will wait to see what happens when it pops into the vault. I know they just dropped Battlefield 1 and Titanfall.
Yes,
into
they did.
The vault.
Yep.
So I'm happy.
I kind of wonder sometimes. Do you think the vault? Sorry. Do you think EA Access could be a bit of a detriment to EA, because like you and myself, we've gotten out of buying EA games because of EA Access. Like for $35 for the year.
Yeah.
And because of that, we've stopped actually buying more EA games. Like there's certain EA games, obviously I bought Mass Effect. But that was the only EA game I've purchased in the last couple of years.
I had actually purchased Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 as well prior, but knowing now how quickly these things are coming into the vault, like,
well, that's just it.
I won't now. Now I'll do my trial. And those both are great games. Both of those are great games, and so absolutely, probably worth purchasing. But after the whole Star Wars Battlefront thing, where I purchased that at full price on launch, and it was on for half price within 30 days. Like it was 28 days. It was on for half price, and I really feel, like I got screwed because I, decided to give them money a little bit early.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so. I mean, I think they're conditioning us to not purchase their games.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's I'd be honestly interested in what the numbers are like for EA Access. Now, considering EA Access is only on Xbox One,
yes,
right? I think it might be felt a lot more if it was also available on PS4,
right?
Because then they wouldn't, they'd be losing sales on PS4 as well. But I wonder how many sales are they losing because of EA Access, because of people like myself, like yourself, who play the demo and are satisfied with just the demo, and then play it again like a year later when it's free in the vault.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder what kind of numbers are being affected by it.
They really need to put out a AAA title that really intrigues, like stuff like that, like a Mass Effect, 5 that's like really, really well done or something like that
Anthem.
to get our
Anthem is coming, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like those are that's the sort of thing that I don't think I would want to wait on.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, they've got to put out that AAA title that really intrigues us in order to do that. But if they keep, like, Madden is a year-to-year game, I don't know if there's enough change in it. Like, I like the idea of Longshot. It's fun. It does add some for the single-player gamer, which is what I am.
Right.
So it does add some stuff to that. So it's a little bit better, but the gameplay itself is not going to be significantly changed. So if you have Madden 17, I don't see any reason why you would need to go up to change to Madden 18 just for a story mode.
Because it's the new version. Come on.
Yeah, well.
They added another number. Well,
I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. Enough sports.
All right.
We're done. You're cut off.
All right. See, well, that's about 12 minutes longer than Jeff would have given me on sports.
You're probably not off the mark. All right, what else did you play?
I also picked up Agents of Mayhem.
And how is this game?
So,
I've not been reading raving reviews about it.
So here's the thing: it's really fun. It is really fun. The gameplay itself, it feels like a Saints Row meets Crackdown sort of thing.
Now, it's by the same people as Saints Row.
It is the same people as Saints Row.
Yeah.
It's Deep Silver.
And Volition.
So published by Deep Silver and built by Volition. It's a fun game. You play as the Agents of Mayhem, and you basically start off with 3 characters from the Agents of Mayhem. They are a super team. Actually, one of the things that really sort of jumped out at me because there's the cutscenes are all done in like 90s, 80s, 90s cartoon.
Okay, yeah, I heard about that.
It feels like basically Agents of Militia they're G.I. Joe.
Okay,
right.
Now this is a third-person shooter.
It's a third-person
open world.
Open world mission-based third-person shooter. Now, there's not a lot that goes on in the in the open world when you're not on missions. Like you can go around and there's like some things there, but I'm walking around in the open world and not really feeling like I'm running into waves of bad guys or anything like that.
Okay.
There are, I believe, 12 characters in the game you can unlock throughout doing some of their missions, and you can use any of them. You'll level up. You can find new special weapons and stuff like that. They all do play differently. It does really feel like similar to like an Overwatch or something like that, where each character does play
very
like
different.
their own, like their own character. They have their own specials. The character I use is Hollywood. He's sort of a automatic weapon guy with a few other like grenades, and so he has like a crotch grenade that he uses as a special.
Good.
Yeah, so he air thrusts and a grenade comes flying out of his crotch. I don't know if that's exactly how where the grenade comes from, but I like to think that that's where it comes from. And
that's only because that's what you wish you had that.
I do. I wish I had crotch grenades. That sounds like some sort of bad STD, to be honest with you. Crotch grenades. It's a fun game. So there's two characters you can get as pre-order bonuses. One of them is Gat from the Saints Row series.
Now that you mentioned, okay, what's the second one? First of all,
I can't remember what the second one is. I just know the first one is Gat.
Now, does this take place in the Saints Row universe?
I believe it does. I think this is set in the far future in the Saints Row universe because there has been mention of Stillwater.
Okay.
The logo for the Agents of Mayhem is the
fleur-de-lis, which they use a lot in Saints Row.
Right. That is the Saints the Saints logo.
Yeah.
So to speak, the purple logo. I'm having a lot of fun with it. The one thing that I do, the characters, because there's so many characters, there's not a lot of personal build on the characters. So like they didn't build. There's not a lot of story built up. It is like your standard G.I. Joe Cobra Commander type bad guys and stuff like that you're trying to take down.
Maybe that's what they're going for, you know, your 80s nostalgia, but in a modern game.
Yeah, but because of the way they've done it with so many characters, you don't like. I'm not finding that I care that much about the story. It's fun to go through and play. I'm really enjoying the game. I'm really enjoying unlocking the characters. I think I've got like 8 of the 12 that come with the base game.
Okay.
Characters unlocked.
That is the biggest complaint I've heard or read in a lot of reviews, is that it's just very repetitive.
Yeah.
And you know, while it's kind of fun at the beginning, it just seems to be, you know, the same thing over and over, and it doesn't really change things up too much.
No, like that's and having played, you know, Saints Row and Crackdown, both of those games really had a better focus on the story. So I was more involved in the game because of that, instead of just going from objective 1 to objective 2.
Okay.
So that being said, I'm actually really enjoying this game. I like when I get home from work, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to hop on. Like it's one of those games that you don't have to put a lot of thought into, but you can just easily pop in and play for.
So you can play it while Leah's climbing all over you.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like it's not like I don't have to pay attention to the stuff or like anything what's going on. I hit that thing, my hand. Yeah, no, it's a fun game, and right now I'm working on unlocking all the characters. So as you go through some of the missions, like it opens up other missions to unlock more characters. So I've got another 5 or 6 characters to unlock right now.
Okay.
So I've got to do those missions and unlock them. It's a fun game. I don't know if it's
is it full price?
It is a full price game. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if they did enough to really make it a AAA title. This seems more like one of those ones that will sell better when it's on that sort of reduced rate. They didn't build any of the story out the way they should have.
Okay, so it's worth getting into, but not at full price.
I would recommend waiting for a price drop on it, but I am that being said, I am enjoying it for what it is right now.
Okay.
But I would wait for a price drop.
Okay. I noticed you've also played some Elder Scrolls Legends. Continuing on that.
Yes, I've been playing some more of that. It's I'm really enjoying that.
Me too. Me too. I've got an amazing story to tell for Elder Scrolls. Now, the video you're watching is not the story I'm telling. This is just so I captured some video yesterday on PC just so I'd have something. But what was I saying? Sorry, that video volume was a little loud. So the other day I'm playing. I like to play a few online. I like to play online games mostly. Just the versus against a random opponent, right?
Yeah.
And so the other day I'm playing with my favorite deck, the Alduin's Apocalypse. Or no, wait, sorry. It wasn't Alduin. It was one of the ones I made. It was a Battle Mage deck. My Battle Mage deck is mostly it's creatures like orcs with a whole bunch of items that you can just add to them to make them stronger. Okay, so it's essentially an item deck.
Okay.
Now, a bit of a background on the game itself. The way the game works is each player has 30 health. The object, of course, is to get your opponent down to 0. But every 5 health you lose, a rune is destroyed, and you get an extra card. Okay, you are given automatically, as soon as the rune is destroyed, you get a card. If that card has the keyword prophecy, it allows you to play it immediately before the opponent can take another action. So, my opponent was at 34 health. He had a deck that essentially gave him health all the time. It had Pilfer, or a Drain. Sorry, it had the keyword Drain. So every time he attacked me, that amount of health would be given to him. Okay?
Yeah.
So he's playing drain cards. I'm defending. I was sort of in a defense mode the whole game, trying to get rid of his cards. He was up to 34 health. He managed to get me down to 5 health. Okay. When he got me to he hit me. I was in the low teens. He hit me. My 10 rune breaks, and out comes a portcullis, which is essentially a wall that has 0 attack power, but 7 health, and it has the keyword guard. What guard means is you have to attack guards before you can attack the player. Okay? So, a portcullis comes out. I'm like, great. So I play it in the lane that I know that he's attacking from. So now it kind of prevents him from hitting again.
From doing damage to you.
Right. But he still managed to get me down to 5. And when my 5, at the same turn, the 5 rune breaks, and out comes another portcullis. So I play it in the second lane. Now here's the funny thing. That wouldn't normally have helped me. But I had a special card out that was an ongoing effect called the Stone of Mundus. And the Stone of Mundus gives your cards a random keyword when you play them. Okay, a keyword that they don't normally have. Both portcullises came out with the keyword regenerate. Which means at every time my turn starts, they get all their health back.
So if you don't destroy them in one move...
Yeah, they get their full health back. So, again, remember I said I was playing with a deck that had all items? Mostly items? My whole hand was item cards. And that was the problem, is I wasn't getting enough characters to put out. I was getting a handful of items. Alright? So this deck needs some work, but...
Yeah.
Now that I've got these 2 free portcullises that have regenerate... He couldn't get through them because he didn't have enough attack power to kill them in one turn.
Yeah.
I started adding items to the portcullis. Now these walls have attack power. By the end of the game, I got the portcullises up to 7 and 8 attack and 12 and 15 health. I ended up winning the game. Now remember, this started... with just, I happened to get the portcullises out because he broke my 10 and 5 rune. So I was down to 5 health. He was 34. I ended up winning the game with a pair of walls, Tico.
Well, that's good.
Walls.
Attack walls. Attack walls are a common thing in the lore.
But this is what's epic about Elder Scrolls Legends is anything can happen.
Yeah, just you can get the right card.
Yeah. And
it can totally affect your ability to do stuff. Like I've had that where I was just getting my butt kicked the other day in a game and playing against a random guy as well. And I drew one card that said if you're like I had like 5 or 6 cards out and I got a card in my hand that said if your health is greater than your opponent's health, add a random keyword to each card in play.
Yes.
And he had 8 health more than me at that point. And I'm like, okay, well, and I didn't have anything. So I started adding items to one of my attacks. One of my cards. So I added a bunch of it. So I got it up so it was 9 attack.
Yep.
Attacked with that, brought him down, and then played the random keyword one, and it boosted all my stuff up, and I ended up getting... on the one lane, 3 of my guys ended up with breakthrough.
Oh, nice.
And I ended up taking him out that turn because I had all the rest of my cards that were still left to play, and they all got enough stuff to just make it through his defenses to take him down and knock him out of the game. It was fantastic.
So breakthrough means that if you do damage to an enemy character, any damage... so if he has 1 health and you have 5 damage... you'll take 1 damage on the character to kill it, and the other 4 goes through to the player. That's breakthrough.
Yes, and key part of that is that affects when they have a guard card up too. It'll play through the guard.
Through the guard, yes, exactly. So you can attack through the guard. Any remaining attack that you didn't use goes on to the player.
Which was important there because he had like 5 guard cards up.
Now, here's the weird thing I've noticed some players doing, and it happened again last night. So I managed to get my opponent down to like 6 or 7 health.
Yeah.
And it was pretty obvious I was about to win, okay, because he didn't have enough people out to destroy. Both rows were full. You know, it was pretty obvious I was pretty much going to win in the next turn. So he forfeits the game. Yeah. I have this happen a lot. People forfeit the game when they realize I'm about to win. And I'm like, honestly, I would never do that because, one, if I had done that when the portcullises came out, I would have lost the game.
Yeah.
But look what happened. The portcullises came out because the last rune was destroyed, which allowed me to win the game. This guy, he forfeited the game before his last rune was broken. He doesn't know what would have come out during the rune.
Yeah.
Right? A card could have come out that, for all intents and purposes, honestly, could have ruined my row or could have won him the game by stopping my next attack. I mean, there are cards, if he had pulled the right card, because it's a random card from your deck. It can be anything.
Yeah.
Right? If it happens to be a prophecy card that can, like, destroy all creatures in one lane, which is a card I have.
Yeah.
Well, he could have won the game if he had happened to pull that card during his last runes. Like, don't quit the game just because you're down to 6 health. You don't know what's going to happen on your last rune.
Yeah, something with silence would have taken away your guard.
Exactly.
And he could just play right through that then.
Or it could have been a what's it called? A chain, like when you chain the guys up.
Yeah.
Right? A restraint. It could have restrained my characters. Who knows? So I don't get why some people just forfeit the game because they happen to be losing and realize that it's over in one turn. Well, one turn makes a difference, believe me. Well, I thought I was done, you know? I would have said, there's no way I'm going to win this game. I'm 5 health, he's 34. How am I going to win? But I did.
It's also a dick move to just sort of quit. Like, let somebody, like, if somebody's beat you, just accept the fact that you've been beaten. You don't need to quit and take that satisfaction away from them. Like, let them, like, now, you know, like, I lose a lot. I don't quit any of the games.
It's still treated as a win for me.
Yes.
Like, it is still treated as a win in the game.
Yes.
But I agree with you. It takes something away from actually winning.
Yeah. Like, that's like, I'm going to take my ball and go home.
Well, yeah, exactly. You know, here's the funny thing too, is I don't even know how they're forfeiting. There's no forfeit button, so I don't know what they're doing to forfeit.
I think there is a forfeit button.
I don't know where it is.
I've seen it before. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's somewhere in the settings. You can back out of a thing, and it'll say if you leave, you're going to forfeit. Are you okay with that? And you say yes.
Oh, see, I don't get it because you don't know what's going to happen. If he was down to 1 health, you know, or under 5, and he knew that he had no guards and it was my turn, okay.
But play it out anyway.
But play it out anyway. Exactly.
Like just okay. I'm not going to do anything past my turn. Let you kill me and be done with it.
Yeah,
like if that's what you want to do, then go ahead. Like what's the difference of waiting the 4 seconds instead of having to find that menu button,
right?
And back out of the game just so you can say, oh well, he didn't actually beat me.
Well, he did, actually. It's still a loss for him and a win for me. I mean, just throw up the good game emote, you know, and be done with it. Like, just good game, thanks. Anyway, I just don't get it because, like I said, the game can turn around. Like, as I saw in my story before, a game can completely turn on its head just because of runes. All right. We have one more game to talk about. A brand new game came out this week called Observer. This is a game where you're a detective in the far future, like it's like 2084, I think. So everything's very cyberpunk. Okay, like everything's just holograms and holographics everywhere. People live in their homes just on their VR. It's a future VR. This is where VR is going, just so you know.
Yeah.
Or AR and VR. But so Observer is created by Bloober Team, the same people who created Layers of Fear. So they like the psychological horror aspect of games.
The jump scare and stuff like that, yeah.
Well, not necessarily jump scares, but psychological horror. Stuff that gets into your head, okay, and makes you uncomfortable. And this game does it in spades. It makes you really uncomfortable. And I'm still struggling with this game on whether or not it's a good use of it or trying to understand why they're doing this. The idea here is you're investigating a murder, okay? It's a murder investigation. You have the ability to scan the areas using, you can scan like body images, you can scan blood or bodies, or you can move into technology and scan tech around you, okay? So you go into different scanning modes. I'm still not quite understanding once I scan something what the point of scanning it was. It's not really clear. Some things I don't feel like things are clear in the game. And then you hack into people's memories. Yeah, you hack into their memories and I'm assuming it's to figure out what happened to them, you know, to understand what was going on. But it is such a mind trip while you're in there. You know, everything's just, it's, imagine a dream world where nothing makes sense. Okay? Imagine a game that is completely glitching, but it's on purpose. You know? I was playing around with the game, and I showed my daughter Aria, again, who loves psychological horrors just like I do.
Yeah.
I showed her the footage from one of these sequences. And when it was done, she looked at me and she said, okay, that was cool, but what was the point of it? And I looked at her and I said, you know what? I don't know. There was no point to it. Yes, it was a mind trip. You know, it was like, what the hell is going on here? And it was interesting the first time I went through. The second time I went through with it, and believe me, some of the stuff that's going on is really freaky. Like, it is definitely a mind trip. You know, things suddenly going warpy, and then when you turn around, it's a completely different room. You know, doors just suddenly appearing that weren't there before, and then when you go through it, you're in a completely different area, or you're going around in circles. You know, things just popping up in front of you suddenly. It is literally like being in a dream world, okay, where nothing makes sense. But at the end of it, I don't know what the point of it was. It didn't advance the story.
Yeah.
I don't... Now, obviously Bloober Team is doing this because they like psychological horror. They've done a good job in that regard. It's kind of terrifying being in there. Okay.
It looks like a modern horror type of game. Like, so it's a horror game set in the future.
It is definitely a modern horror, you know.
Yeah.
And it's very much along the lines of Layers of Fear, where you're just walking through a house and things are changing, and when you're trying to figure out what's going on, but you're hearing sounds. Like, the spatial sounds are amazing in the game. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to understand what the point of these sequences are. There are areas in the sequence where you can die. You have to keep away from this creature that seems to be hunting you. Again, nothing is really explained. You kind of just figure it out on your own. And I'm still trying to figure out why we're doing this. One of the sequences I played, it got to the point where it was so long, I honestly said to myself, okay, can this just be done now?
Yeah, I've played games like that where it's just, okay, like, you need to get me to a save point because maybe I don't feel like playing for this long. Particularly psychological horror games, because they can really get into your head, and sometimes it's just like, okay, enough is enough. I need a break.
That's exactly what happened with one of these sequences I was in. It literally got to the point where it's like, okay, I've had enough. Can you just get me out of here now?
Yeah.
But you can't just leave. You have to play out the sequence. And again, I've played several of these sequences, and I don't understand the point of them. They don't make sense. Like, okay, yes, they're doing psychological horror really well. Like, really well. To the point where I can't get it out of my head. I'm still thinking about those sequences. But story-wise, for the game itself, they didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're there. It's just so bizarre. I mean, the game itself makes more sense where he's investigating murder scenes. And he's following a murder trail.
Yeah.
But hacking into these people's fears and dreams, I don't know why we're doing it. It doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe it makes more sense if you play more.
Well, maybe, but I've played a few of them already. You know, the story itself makes sense. I'm investigating murders. It's not like you have the choice to hack into these people. It's part of the story. It kind of guides you into that.
But I guess if you solved a murder or something like that, like from going through, it's like, oh, well, clearly it was Jim with the candlestick in the parlor.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you come out of the thing figuring, it's like, that's what I learned from that little, thing. Like, that guy did the murder.
Yeah.
But if you're not coming out figuring out who did the murder, then why are you doing it in the first place? Maybe it's just some guy who just enjoys hopping into other people's brains.
Well, this is what he does. He is an observer. It's basically what his job is.
Oh.
So, and the neat thing about it too, real quick, is that the more you do weird stuff like that, the more unstable you as a player get. So the screen starts going all weird until you inject yourself with a drug that synchronizes, I guess, your brain back to its normalcy. Otherwise, the screen actually starts tearing and weird things start happening.
Yeah, we call that coffee here.
Yeah, exactly. All right, that's enough of gaming. We've got a bunch of news to talk about, so let's move on. Okay, I was reading a really great article this week about Assassin's Creed Origins. And I've been really curious about this game since they announced it, because I know they've changed the combat quite a bit, and I was a little concerned about that. I'm still a little concerned about it, to be honest with you. But what I was reading, kind of, at first, I was concerned. They're talking about how it's going to be, it's totally open world now. Okay, yeah. There is no guided story in it. Okay, the best way I can describe this is what they're describing after I thought about it for a while, so it made me a little more excited for it. What they're describing is they're essentially turning Assassin's Creed Origins into a Skyrim type environment, where it's just you get a bunch of quests that you can accept or deny, and you can go about doing all of those quests in any order at any time. Okay, if you happen to be working on a main story quest and you come across something else while doing it, you are absolutely free to go off and do something else in the middle of a main story quest.
Okay, that's pretty cool. I like the idea of that not being stuck to to one line before you can move on to the you have to follow this whole storyline before you can go and do some of that stuff. I like the idea of being able to do what you want. You want to go straight to the pyramid, you go straight to the pyramid.
Yeah. If so previous Assassin's Creed, once you were in a main story mission, you had to see it out to completion or failure.
Yeah.
Whereas now you don't. There is no failure. Well, you can fail, but you don't have to go through that. You don't have to finish it before moving on to something else. So but this also, I know Jeff has been saying it. I know several other people have been saying how they're really getting overwhelmed with all of these open world games, right? They're just getting too much. And I
like them.
I love open world games. I've always loved open world games. But I know some people are getting overwhelmed with them. It's too much. I'm excited for it. I think I might enjoy that aspect of just, random quests through the world that kind of build up the world, build up the characters. My understanding is that if you happen to be working on one quest and then go off on another, that secondary quest might actually help you with the other one you were working on.
So like if you can't complete something, maybe it's I gotta go do something over here first to improve my odds on this.
Right. Well, I mean, one of the quests he suggested as an example was there's a quest to tame a crocodile and kill someone with it, to kill an enemy with the crocodile, and then there's another quest that has you have to go and assassinate someone. Well, you can now merge those two quests by going and taming a crocodile and using that crocodile to kill the target of the first mission.
Oh, okay.
So you've now essentially
completed
two quests in one. So they allow that kind of crossover in open world. And Skyrim was very similar. You could get a whole bunch of quests and literally complete them all in one area.
Yeah.
Right? Because they all kind of merged. They all kind of were in one area. And Tico's way too busy to even pay attention to me right now.
I'm paying attention. I'm opening up the notes on the computer that wasn't working earlier. I'm opening up the notes and I'm listening to everything that you're talking about in full.
So I think I'm okay with that. But I wonder what that means to people who are just tired of open world games. Like Assassin's Creed started out, it was always open world in a sense, but it was always like Horizon, it was always a guided open world.
Yeah, like you want to go here, but you have to finish this before we unlock these missions or something like that.
Yeah.
Like this is here, you can go in here, but only once you complete the story mission that tells you about how to use a car or something like that.
Yeah, yes, a car in Assassin's Creed. Absolutely. You're
And
absolutely right there.
Syndicate, there's cars in Syndicate.
There are horse and buggies.
I thought there was a car.
I
could have sworn there was a car. Didn't like Leonardo da Vinci invent a car or something like that for?
No, Leonardo da Vinci was not in Syndicate. He was in Brotherhood.
All right, Bill da Vinci, his ancestor, created a car for the thing. I think you just maybe didn't play that part of the DLC.
I see. I get it.
That's got to be it.
So I'm excited for that. I'm looking for, again, it's Assassin's Creed. I love Assassin's Creed. So I think I'm okay with the fact of it becoming more like a Skyrim. You know, it's going to be an extended gameplay session with a whole bunch of stuff to do. And this, okay, you sit down, like, what am I doing now? Go through your quest log and you go do it. And then squirrel, oh, there's something else. You know, let's go do that. And I like that.
It's also good for those of us who have, small children and stuff like that. Like they have that not necessarily shorter attention span, but that shorter pocket of gaming available to them, so they can go in and they can pop out a couple of quick quests or something like that, and then turn it off and go up for dinner, or make sure your kid hasn't burned down the house.
Right, you're not stuck in
one of those things.
Yeah, you're not stuck in some whacked out psychological horror sequence for an hour that you can't get out of.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, so PlayStation 4, the system update 5.0 is going to be available. The beta is out now. There's a whole bunch of new stuff coming to it. Some interesting things, little things like now you can change the pop-up color of your toasts. You can make them white or black. Right now they're white. You can change them to black, I guess, so they blend in more with the games. Setting up more details on family. So you can set up a master family member who has control over the children.
Yeah.
Better friends list management. In PlayStation VR, they've now added the ability to show messages from the spectators while you're live streaming VR. So now you can interact, which is good, because normally when you're streaming in VR live, there's no toasts whatsoever. You get an achievement, you have no clue what that achievement is.
You have no idea that it's there.
Right? You hear the sound, but you don't know what just happened, because there are no pop-ups in VR. Apparently now you're going to have the ability to show spectator comments while playing in VR. So that's good. PlayStation 4 users can now stream to Twitch in 1080p, 60 frames per second. Whole bunch of messages improvements. You can apparently share music you're playing with people on your friends list if you're playing through PlayStation Music. They can also tune in and listen to what you're listening to. Finally, they've added the ability, and I don't know why it took them so long, because Microsoft did this, I think, on the 360. The ability to disable pop-ups if you're playing video.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I took care of that ages ago. It was the first thing I turned on.
Yes.
Because so many times you're watching a movie, and it doesn't do great things for your movie-going experience when, it's like, oh, Sean's online. I don't care.
Right.
Particularly when Sean's logging in and out 400 times during my movie. It's Sean's online, Sean's offline, Sean's online, Sean's offline.
It's what I do. It's what I do, yes. Chico. It's what I do.
I figured. Just because I'm watching, Ernest Goes to Camp with my family.
Yeah, that's right. Or Suicide Squad. Both great movies.
Both, Oscar quality.
Well, obviously Suicide Squad is Oscar quality, but let's
the Grouch. I don't mean like the actual award. I just mean like the character from Sesame Street would enjoy that.
Let's not get into Suicide Squad. I have very strong feelings about that movie, and they're not good feelings. Other things that is cool, I'm just going through. Oh, quick menu updates. I love the quick menu now. While you're in a game, you just press the PlayStation button and you can shut the game down. You can go to your friends lists. Microsoft has done very similar, where it comes up on the side now when you click the guide button. Yeah. They've now added, when you're in a party, without having to go back out to the dashboard, you can leave the party right from the quick menu now, which is great because before
you don't have to quit your game.
Yeah, well, you don't have to quit the game, but you always had to leave the game to go back to the menu, quit the party, and then go back into the game.
Yeah.
So they've now added a lot more stuff to the quick menu. Virtual surround sound on PSVR when you're watching Blu-rays and DVD in cinematic mode. And they've got a tournament bracket viewer now. I think they may have added it a while back. I don't use it, but they've added improvements to the tournament bracket viewer. So that's cool. I didn't even know they had tournament brackets. Did you? Did you remember that?
No, I don't recall the tournaments, but I know I've seen stuff on there. I didn't know that was in there though.
Yeah, so lots of improvements coming, some great little things. It's all mostly behind the scenes stuff, you know, making things a little easier for people. It's funny because this is PS4 System Update 5. Like, it's 5.0, which means to me, like, that's a major update. These, to me, are not major updates. I kind of wonder what else are they doing that maybe they haven't told us yet.
Yeah, this couldn't have been like a 4.8 or something like that for these.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, why is it a full-on 5.0? What makes it a major release? That I don't understand.
This is a tweak as opposed to...
These are a lot of tweaks, exactly.
Yeah.
So, to me, a new, like a 5.0, a brand new number should be like, oh, the interface has changed completely. Like, it's a whole new UI.
Yeah.
Right? But... PlayStation hasn't changed the UI since PlayStation 3 days.
Yeah, it's the exact same look and setup, whereas Microsoft changes it every 4 seconds.
At least.
Not necessarily a good thing.
No.
But...
All right, well, let's move on to something else that's not necessarily a good thing, but it is good in another aspect.
All right.
We Happy Few finally has a release date, but it's not until next year. April 13th.
Yes, I have owned this game on preview on the Xbox for like 9 years now.
At least. You know, I'm afraid We Happy Few is slowly creeping into the No Man's Sky realm here.
Yeah.
But the good news is it's also releasing on PS4 because they're actually working with Gearbox Publishing now. Okay, so Gearbox now has a publishing arm. Of course, Gearbox does Borderlands. They have a publishing arm. They have taken on We Happy Few, and they're publishing it. They're also publishing it to PS4. Originally, it was sort of hinted at being an Xbox One exclusive.
Yes.
Xbox One PS
exclusive.
Yeah, and PC, I think.
Yeah.
But now it's also PS4. But it's not until next year, April 13th. I was reading a really great article about it. How it has changed completely since they first announced it at PAX East. I think were you with me when we saw We Happy Few the first time at PAX East?
Yes.
So that was the first time they ever showed it. And a lot of people, after seeing it, said how much they loved how BioShock-like it was.
Yeah. And
the developers were like, it's nothing like BioShock. What are you talking about? And they're all like, why do people think it's like BioShock? Because their intention for We Happy Few was a roguelike survival game.
Yeah.
That's what it was supposed to be. They've now taken a step back, and they've realized what people saw in it and what people were expecting from it, and they've now completely changed it to be a huge narrative story. It wasn't going to have a narrative. It was like a Don't Starve type game. It's survival. Survive as long as you can. But now it's completely turned around based on what people thought it was.
People were hoping for.
We're hoping for, yeah, you know. I really hope... They're doing so many things that No Man's Sky did that really makes me fearful for it, because they're going to have a $150 collector's edition of this game at launch that does not include the game.
Okay, that seems like an odd choice.
Like, this is a new IP, people. It's not... I understand something like Mass Effect coming out with a $150 collector's edition.
Yeah.
Because it's a huge franchise that people love and adore.
I can even understand a new IP like 10 years ago coming out with something like this with hype and stuff like that when people were still buying games physically.
Well, that's just it too, right?
You know, and people are now, it's a digital world. People are, you know, they're very rarely even going into game stores anymore. They're just buying everything on their console. I'm actually very glad that I hit this game up, and well, except for Sid. He's keeping the entire, you know, EB Games network, you know, going on his own. But no, I'm actually really glad I did the pre-order, the preview for this, because I actually bought this game
for $30, I think, right?
Like for $30, because it's looking like you've got here the price point is.
It's a full price game now.
Full price game now.
Full price again. Going the No Man's Sky route, it's now a full priced game. $60 American, which is going to be about $80 Canadian. I'm sorry, but when I played the preview on Xbox One for We Happy Few, it did not impress me so much that I'm going to pay $80 for it.
No, I barely played it because of the fact that I'm like, okay, it's got a story, it's got a narrative, like, you know, like if it's going to have that, I want to wait until they're done and they've figured out what their narrative is.
Let alone a $150 collector's edition that does not include the game. Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about those things are when they don't sell, we can get them at EB for $10.
This is true. That is true. You know,
so
like these amazing in the video you're seeing on my desk, I've got 2 Assassin's Creed statues. These are Assassin's Creed from the movie, so it's Aguilar and Maria standing side by side. They were $60 when they first came out. I'm like, there's no way I'm paying $60 for Assassin's Creed statues.
A figurine, yeah.
So EB got rid of them all for $10 each. I'm like, I will buy that for $10.
Yeah, they are. It's a nice. They are nice looking pieces.
They are quality statues, let me tell you. Yeah. But not for $60.
Yeah, no. Like this is like $10 is. I mean, they're. I would say they're probably valued at the $20-$25 range if I was putting my own personal value on that, assuming that I had the ability to do that and people would listen to me. That's what I'd say they're worth. So if you can find them less than that,
which makes $10 even better.
Exactly.
Actually, I even bought the hidden blade that they made for it as well. It was like $9.25.
Yeah. So, it's all plasticky though.
Oh, it's very plasticky. And I put it on for like 10 minutes and my arm was sweating like crazy.
Oh yeah, because
it's plastic and rubber, you know. So
yeah. And you can't stab anybody with it. It's not really as effective as
the blade is very rubbery.
Yeah.
It just bends like, you know. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on.
All right.
So speaking of course, Gearbox and Borderlands, Gearbox has announced their new project called Project 1v1. It's available in beta now, so you can actually go sign up to be part of the beta once they launch it. Brand new world though, so I'm really excited. Like, Gearbox, of course, has been Borderlands for years. You know, they did Duke Nukem. They did Duke Nukem, but let's not talk about that.
Well, they published Duke Nukem.
No, they finished it.
Well,
Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah, they finished and published it, but I mean, it was not good.
I believe I just said, let's not talk about Duke Nukem.
And I didn't. I just made a face.
So Project 1v1, there's not a whole lot of information about this. I believe it's a shooter. I've signed up for the beta for it. I'm going to check that out. And, you know, we had this news last week. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. It's a 1v, obviously, Project 1v1, right? It's a 1 versus 1 first-person combat with the metagame strategy of a collectible card game.
Okay.
I'm like, that sounds intriguing.
That is interesting. And what is this? What is this slated for? Is this PC? Obviously,
this is literally console? Not. There's no other information about this game yet.
Oh, so you signed up for our beta on something?
Exactly right. If you go to project1v1.com, you can sign up for more information. You can sign up to be part of the alpha, I don't know if it's alpha or beta, but one of them. You know, and yeah, I mean, I'm interested. Like, 1v1 first-person combat. So that's the kind of PvP I could handle.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I see you, you see me, I don't have to worry about someone behind me.
Yes.
You know, sniping me in the head from 20 miles away.
And if it's me, you've got a good shot of winning.
Exactly. So I have to make sure I buy it on the same console as you. But I don't understand what they mean by metagame strategy of collectible card game. Like, to me, that's fascinating. I want to know more.
Like, is it a physical card game that you actually have to go out and buy actual cards and scan them into your game, or is it like
doubt
a card
it,
like
but
you've got to collect like cards in the game to like instead of like to actually boost you find better guns and stuff like that.
That I don't know exactly. I don't know. I'm so fascinated. The early look at the game will offer 3 modes: ranked, challenge, and arena. Okay, so it's a closed technical test that's coming up in the coming months. So you can sign up for the closed technical test for Project 1v1, which I have done. So hopefully I can get into and learn more about it. It sounds fascinating, and it's Gearbox, so it's probably going to be fun and irreverent, and you know, it's going to be great. Yeah,
no, I'm interested, very interested.
I am also very excited and very interested in this next game. It's a VR game called Megaton Rainfall. It's coming to PS4 and PSVR on September 26th, which means you don't have to play it in VR.
Okay.
But so this is a superhero game. For all intents and purposes, you are a superhero. It is a superhero sim and a superhero that can fly. Imagine a first-person shooter as a superhero who can fly. Okay, in this massive open world, destructible environments.
Yeah.
Now, do it in VR. My mind went, what?
That sounds fun.
Flying and like first-person shooter, flying freeform over this massive open area with destructible buildings in VR? Are you kidding me right now?
Are there trailers available for this yet?
There is a trailer for it. It is. Let me find well, in the link in the show notes. So just go to our webpage, omgnexus.com, and there are videos and images of the game. It looks amazing. If you just go to YouTube, actually, and search for Megaton Rainfall, you'll definitely find the trailer for it. Unbelievable, Tico. I was like, this is what I've been waiting for.
This looks really fun. I will actually be coming over to your place to
to try that in VR.
To play this, yeah.
Amazing. I cannot wait. And it's coming up soon. It's September 26th. So, you know, I'll have had my Destiny 2 fix. Not that I'll be finished it, but you know,
you'll be able to take a break for 5 minutes.
Exactly. I mean, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know if you have PSVR, why would you not play this in VR? It sounds so amazing. I cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Yes, no, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll be coming over to play that on the 26th.
And speaking of waiting, how do you feel about waiting for Crackdown?
This is Microsoft's annual delay of Crackdown.
Right?
I believe about this time last year we talked about their delay from 2016 into 2017 of Crackdown, and now we're talking about delay till 2018, and we will be back next year same time to talk about the delay till 2019.
So Crackdown 3 delayed till 2018. What I had assumed was going to be a launch title for Project Scorpio.
Yeah.
You know, to show all the new destructible environments and the amazing power of the 6 teraflops of gaming glory. Are they even going to have any games designed for Xbox One X?
Well, there'll be a few. Launch? I know the Middle Earth Shadows of War will have. We'll have that. They'll have a version for the One X. There's a few things, but there's got a big problem with they've got nothing for exclusive. They've got Forza and Cuphead. I think are their 2 exclusives this year right now.
That's it.
Those are the only 2 that I can think of. The only 2 exclusives that they've got announced right now is Forza 7.
Well-known exclusives.
Yeah, like I mean, I'm sure there's something that'll pop out there that nobody even knew was coming or whatever. But like that, they're actually marketing Cuphead and Forza 7 right now. Now that Crackdown is pushed by, and listen, I'm glad that if Crackdown wasn't ready to go, if it wasn't the game they wanted it to be, if it wasn't going to be good enough, that they're pushing it back. I'm glad that they're not pushing out this AAA crap on us.
But why isn't it good enough after how much time they've been working on it?
I don't know. Maybe they're paid by the hour and they figure, well,
right.
Like I don't know what their reason for the delay is. If it's not ready, I'm glad that they're not dropping a crappy game. Like I did not enjoy Crackdown 2.
That was terrible.
I felt it was terrible. So like I'm glad if it's not ready, it's not. But Microsoft's forecast is very grim. Like I'm not a huge racing guy, so Forza 7, I'll play it, but I don't have a ton of interest in it.
No, I don't like The Sims. I'm more excited for the new Need for Speed.
And Cuphead. I mean, it looks neat. I'm not
playing Cuphead.
Listen, it looks neat. But I played it 2 years ago at one of the Xbox summits, and I don't know what else that they needed to do to that caused such a long time for it to come out. Right?
It seemed pretty solid when we played it.
Like it looked like it was ready. Like when we played this, okay, we'll have an announcement in the next couple of weeks as to when this is coming out. But 2 years later, and it's now finally. And
it's not a game I would I even enjoy. It's boss battles. That's all it is. Every level is a boss battle.
They have changed that. It is no longer just boss battles. There's apparently some platforming now as well.
Oh, well, I'm still really not. I mean, yeah, it looks great. It looks like a 1930s cartoon. That's the whole point.
Yeah, but, and I'm interested in it, but that doesn't sell me on, that's not, man, I got to buy a 1X because I can play Cuphead on it.
No, Cuphead's not a 1X purchase. I mean, come on.
So, I believe they're going to be announcing the pre-order dates for the 1X soon, too.
I think it's going to be Sunday. Honestly, I think it'll this coming Sunday, like tomorrow. So Anyway, that is it for this week. We are definitely at our hour mark, and I'm hearing weird noises. Is your daughter crying or something?
That's more of a scream than a cry, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, so you definitely need to get going. So why don't you take us out?
All right. Well, first, I would like to wish Glenn a happy birthday.
Oh yes, happy birthday, Glenn!
It is Glenn's birthday today. Today. So we put the show off from Thursday till today because of his birthday. That's the only reason.
And we were expecting him we could wish him a happy birthday live right here on the show, and he's not even here. How
but
rude.
He does watch every week.
I know he does.
And listen, so I wanted to make sure we wished him a happy birthday. Anyways, I am Tico, at Mr. Second Place on Twitter. You can follow me there for the very few updates I ever do.
He usually just retweets stuff I do.
Yeah, and some other important people too.
Oh, right, like OMG Nexus and the OMG Hour.
Well, usually just Jeff. I have retweeted every single one of Jeff's tweets.
Okay. So you don't even have to follow Jeff. That is exactly what you're saying. But you can follow me. I am Ziantane everywhere. That is XIANTAYNE. The show notes, which I mentioned before, are at omgnexus.com. You can follow Jeff if you'd like. He is at Cynix, and that is SINNIX. But apparently you don't have to because Tico will just retweet him anyway. The show is at the OMG Hour. Once again, Tico will just retweet it anyway. Tico is like our one filter.
Maybe I should just start doing that. I'm just going to start retweeting everybody on Twitter. And so then everybody just follows me and they'll get everybody's tweets. And so then I have the most followers ever.
Perfect. Excellent. Give us a like, subscribe to the channel. If you like what you're seeing, give us a comment, share us with your friends. And of course, I want to thank our gaming archaeologist who is still working with us. We didn't have a Lost Treasure this week, but he's been a super busy guy. He's doing a whole bunch of stuff at his museum. Check out his site at pcmuseum.ca. They're working on doing a gamer camp for the kids. I think it's coming up soon. Check them out, and you can follow him on Twitter at Sid Bolton, and that is Sid with a Y. That's it for episode number 263. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week.
Bye, guys.
This has been an OMGNexus.com production.